you're gonna have to forgive your parents. You are, even if your parents claimed they did nothing wrong. Now, in the last episode, we explored the idea that trauma might be real. And we watched a video from a very powerful, no bullshit lady, Marina. And she talked about how trauma was an algorithm installed in you. And when you see the mechanics behind that algorithm, it fades. If you want to see that episode, you can go there. Trauma may be a big fat lie. So this episode today is going to focus on one of the biggest things that will keep somebody stuck is not forgiving their parents. You might have a lot of unconscious anger towards your parents. And I myself had a lot of unconscious anger towards my parents, but I didn't know I needed to forgive them of anything. I mean, they claimed they were perfect. You know, I've told my story, like I thought something was wrong with me. They told me something was wrong with me. I was the identified patient in the family. Of course, I'm going to be angry about that. But how do you access that anger? And furthermore, how do you forgive your parents for the things that they did to you? My case might be really, really bad. It's probably worse. It's probably one of the worst ones that people can have because it looks so good. It looks so fun. It looks so pretty. My parents were supportive until they weren't. They would let me get away with stuff, but as soon as they saw me succeeding at something, they would shut it down. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. But primarily, we're going to learn how to forgive parents, especially parents who claim they do nothing wrong. And as you know, I just don't understand. I don't understand this. So I'm going to tell you some of my story again today. I think these early episodes of the Shaman Patrick Show, you're going to hear a lot about my story because I want you to know that I do know what I'm talking about. I have been through these things. And I got video evidence of it today. We're going to watch some old video evidence I have of, somehow I've managed to keep on to a hold of some things. And we're going to watch something from my favorite YouTube creator, Jesse Lee Peterson. Today on this episode of the Shaman Patrick Show, let's go.
He was once a storm in human form, sharp tongue, cold soul, heart worn and torn, living like a ghost who missed his grave till the spirit sang out and called him brave. He got rewired by the great unknown, heard the call like a dial tone to the bone. So pull up a chair, enjoy the glow. This is the Shaman Patrick Show.
I grapple with telling some of these stories. I really do, because I want to give you like a story of how I came to understand all this stuff. Yeah, I was remade into a shaman, but a shaman also has to have a human life. That's how a shaman learns. That's how we earn the right to be able to help other people. Because if we don't go through stuff, we won't know what people really go through, and we won't be of any benefit or use to anybody. So a shaman who has had an extensive, painful life experience is probably going to be able to help a lot of people. And I'm currently reassessing, especially after all the Aubrey Marcus stuff. I'm like, do I even want to work with people anymore? Because I don't know. I don't know about that because, the prerequisite to work with me is that you got to be sober. You gotta be willing to work on your ego issue, because otherwise it's not good for people. And you can't be on drugs. You gotta be willing to work on yourself. Otherwise it's a waste of their time and money and a waste of my time. It's just like, I'd rather work with people who really want to work on this stuff and get to work on it. But those people are kind of few and far between. So I don't know if I really even want to put myself out there to work with other people, but I'll figure it out. Because is a shaman able to work with people one-on-one, or is it better for me to just make episodes and videos? I like doing that and interview other people. Hey, somebody is coming on this channel to be interviewed, and they are an expert on semen retention. So if you are interested in semen retention and what that's all about, stay tuned, because I'm going to interview somebody who knows a hell of a lot about it and the benefits and all that kind of stuff. So today's episode is about forgiving your parents, that you have to forgive your parents, and that you, even if they claim they do nothing wrong, Now, on the surface, it looked like my parents cared for me. It looked like my parents supported me. It looked like that. And in 2010, as a result of a flood, and also as a result of my alcoholism and poor choices, I lost my apartment. And I was stuck in Nashville, and my friends just kind of got sick of me. I was an alcoholic. I was hanging out with alcoholics. Alcoholic people get sick of each other. They do. And they didn't know what to do with me anymore. I was in a bar crying. They called my aunt. My aunt came and picked me up. I was in a bad emotional state. But my aunt and her boyfriend, they were not kind to me. They was like, what did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? You fucked up. You fucked up. And then they called my parents. I thought I was going to stay with them for the weekend or a couple of days. Like, I didn't really have any place to live, but I had a lot of friends in Nashville. My entire life was in Nashville. And when I went to stay with them, my car was in Nashville. And while I was in, I ran away from this home. I ran away from this town. I tried to get away from these people. They were very sick. I knew they were sick. And I spent most of my life trying to get to the point where I would never have to be in their presence ever again. Like, why would I want to move back home? Why would anybody want to move back home? And I went at the end of August. They came and picked me up in August, but it became pretty clear that I was there. They pretty much kept me as their prisoner there. And I'm not even joking. My mother forced me to get onto Xanax because I was naturally very upset at the whole situation. I was also a freelance web designer and graphic designer, and I was helping people. I had clients in Nashville, and my biggest client, once I was no longer in Nashville, decided they didn't want to use me anymore. They wanted somebody local. My parents also tried to get in the way of me working at all. So in many ways, they kind of kept me prisoner. They kept me stuck. And I was extremely frustrated by the whole thing. And so I felt it was appropriate to just kind of make fun of myself and my situation. While I was in Nashville, I invented this character named Bo Ratliff. And this character was a country gay guy. And so I had a friend whose boyfriend, who, by the way, co-wrote the song Change the World by Eric Clapton. He and I got along really well. And so in Nashville, I knew a lot of songwriters and stuff like that. But they said, you need to do this comedy. At that time, I was going by the name Eric. But they were like, Eric, you need to do this comedy. This comedy is what you need to do. And when my life fell apart and I was back home living with my parents, I was looking at all the things that I could possibly do in my parents' house. And they were going to get in the way of almost anything. But so I came up with a way to heal from it. And I came up with a way to deal with my situation. And I created this web series called Anything Bows. And the first episode was immediately a sensation among my friends and family. Like, I knew a lot of people in Nashville. And so I ended up making, over the course of 4 seasons, about 50 episodes of this comedy web series. And it was at a time when this kind of stuff was popular. So today we're going to look at episode number 1 of that comedy web series. And I want you to see what it was like living back at home and how I grappled with that. And Merrick said, you should show Anything Bows episodes because some of them are really funny. But we're gonna look at the first episode today, and I just want you to see my like what it was like in my parents' house. And I'm trying to tell you a sad story in a funny way, if you know what I mean. So all of these episodes are online. I'm not going to tell you the YouTube channel. Just maybe if you want to find it, you can. I don't care. But I want to show you what it was like to be back at my parents' home. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Bo Ratliff. I am in a town called Mount Vernon. Some things have happened to me over the past couple years, and they've led me to move back in with my mama, and that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. So I'm back living at home and enjoying the city. Well, this ain't really a city. It's more like a town. Well, it's not really a town. Only about 800 people live here, so it's more like a neighborhood. Well, anyway, I'm back living at home with my mama, and we're having all sorts of fun. We're doing stuff. We're walking. We're talking. She's cooking me dinner every night, and that's all I'm gonna say about that for right now. My mama has 2 extra bedrooms, but I feel as a sense of personal pride that I'm staying in the shed out back. I feel like I'm a grown man and that I should be able to take care of myself. So I feel like if I'd stayed in the extra bedrooms, I just wouldn't have, it just would have felt like I was, taking advantage of my mama. She works real hard down at the Hardee's, and so I'm going to be looking for me a job. And I'm also thinking about changing my style a little bit. I learned lots of things in the city, and how I'm going to apply them to my new life, I'm not real sure. But I'm glad to be back.
And that's kind of how I felt. I mean, I thought it was really funny at the time. Some other people thought it was really funny. That character, I played that character a lot before making those videos, and but I didn't know that I was going to end up making a whole mythology, a whole thing about it. So I would make a new episode like every day. Like every day for the first 10 days, I made like a new episode, and posting them on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. But eventually my mother said, shut it down. She was getting recognized at the thrift store. See, my family was white trash. But my mother said, shut it down. And I had to figure out a way, because at that point, I said, you know what? I want to do comedy. I want to do this stuff. But they said, shut it down. But I kept doing it. We might look at some other episodes later, because it gets really crazy. He eventually moves to a city, moves into a haunted house. He has to deal with ghosts. But the story is basically my story. Somebody who moved away, got involved in an abusive relationship and had to move back home. And the story is really my story with the ghosts and everything like that. But I bring this up because I wanted to show you that my family was white trash. And, at that point in their life, my mother was on Xanax. My father was cheating. He was gone. He was a truck driver, so he was never really home. And I definitely did not like being back at home. I hated it. And all those precious moment figurines and all of that. And, just the Diet Coke and the Bugles and all of this food and stuff, it just wasn't me at all. And I'd like to add that my mother, like all my clothes were in Nashville. Everything I owned was in Nashville, and they were completely uninterested in going to Nashville to get my clothes or my stuff. My mother actually took me to the thrift store to get me clothes, even though I had all these clothes in Nashville that I couldn't go get. So anyway, I just want to briefly touch on that my parents getting control of my life at that stage in my life was very destructive to me. I mean, of course, I ended up better off. I ended up way better off. I had to learn that the hard way. I had to see firsthand how crazy these people were. But at the same time, therapists may have tried to tell me that. Within, after they shut down what I was doing, I got so frustrated, I ended up escaping and going to a gay bar, getting a DUI, and it gets sadder. It gets way sadder. But by doing that comedy, I found a way to make fun of it. I did. And so the video that we're going to watch today is from Jesse Lee Peterson. And Jesse Lee Peterson, his big thing is you have to forgive your parents. You have to forgive them. And many people don't think that their parents did anything wrong. Like, I don't have any romantic notions about parenting. I don't. So I know that parents screw up their children. I don't expect parents to be perfect, but parents who have romantic notions about parenting, this is the biggest problem. It's the biggest problem I had with my family. They could not admit that they did anything wrong. And in fact, months later, after I got my DUI, I was sobering up. I was starting to realize things about myself. And I was in a car with my mother, and she admitted that they had made one mistake. And it was very difficult for her. She started screaming. I'm not going to get into that mistake right now. I might later, but it was very difficult for her to admit that she had made a mistake. She was gripping the steering wheel. She was shaking like, we made a mistake, all right? We made a mistake. And I'm like, oh God. Oh God. It's that bad. It's that bad. And it's really hard to forgive people who claim they did nothing wrong. Because for some people, if they have to admit that they did something wrong, their whole life would fall apart. They wouldn't be able to handle it. And so I was the scapegoated child. So I was the one who had done things wrong. And I'm like, man, if I could do shit wrong my whole life, then you can do shit wrong. Like, it's kind of a two-way street. Like, if you're in a relationship, if you're a child, Merrick's parents claim they did nothing wrong, even though they got divorced. Merrick's father is perfect. Merrick's mother is perfect. But you can't have conversations with them about this because they got to preserve that perfect family image. Merrick's father tried to destroy us rather than in trying to preserve the perfect family image of a family that's no longer together anymore. It's fucking hilarious. So yeah, I had to forgive Merrick's father. I had to forgive my father. I had to forgive my mother. I had to forgive my parents. Nothing changed until I processed my anger and learned to forgive both my parents and my in-laws. Because when you get married to somebody, even though they're your in-laws, they do kind of become your parents too. They do. I wish it wasn't that way, but you can learn to forgive people. You can forgive them. Doesn't mean you have to hang out with them. I mean, it's very unlikely I'm going to want to be around my father-in-law again. Very unlikely. Very unlikely I'll want to be around Merrick's mother or even my parent or my family. It's very unlikely. I don't want that kind of shit in my life anymore. That's called setting boundaries. Setting boundaries. Because I figure if I'm going to go through all this processing this anger, I don't need anybody else in my life to make me angry again. Do you know what I mean? My peace is worth protecting these days. All right, so let's go over to our good friend and brother in Christ, Jesse Lee Peterson. This is from a video called Black Female Calls Out Jesse on Forgiveness. Angry black female calls Jesse out on forgiveness. There's going to be screaming in this video. There's going to be, you don't understand. And I'm not the only one who gets told they don't understand. My friend and I laugh about it. Like, you just don't understand. You just don't get it. And so eventually, it's weird. Like, the more you know about stuff, it's weird when people come up to you and say, you don't understand. It's very strange. And I think they're trying to preserve that ego. And this is a good example. So if the screaming gets too much for you, turn it down. But I think you're going to see how irrational mothers get. Like this idea that mothers are perfect and can do no wrong. Very destructive. Mothers aren't perfect. Nobody is. You don't have to be a perfect mother. You don't. Let go of that fantasy. There are no perfect mothers. There are no perfect mothers. But Jesse talks a lot about why you have to forgive your parents.
888-775-3773. Let me go to Phyllis, a first-time caller out of Indiana. Phyllis, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hey, Phyllis.
Yes. How you doing?
Amazing.
I know you are. Look,
How
I just got a
you?
couple questions. I'm great. I really am, because I've been listening to you, trying to figure out some things. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to ask you one thing that I had heard you say now, nobody else. You said when you was conceived, you and your mother and your father got together and they stood up when they had sex. So when your mother did get impregnated, you said that your father said there's no way we were standing up. Although your father tried. But you told me to forgive my mother because what the father did. And I don't understand. Why would I have to forgive my mother that did everything that she's supposed to do? To trade over to forgive my father who you said left you.
So I encountered this when I'm helping people get sober. Like in the video we talked about yesterday with trauma, you work backwards from it. Like if you have trouble standing up for yourself, you probably were controlled as a child. Like if you feel like you're worthless as an adult, your parents probably made you feel worthless. I mean, your parents screwed you up. I mean, I myself was told this, my first meeting with an addictionologist. I resisted it because I thought my parents had done all this stuff for me. And I was brainwashed into accepting unacceptable behavior from my parents as love. It was a lie. They lied to me. They did fucked up shit to me and they called it love. And I resisted having to forgive my parents, having to realize that my parents fucked me up. Like it would have been much easier if I could have understood that as an alcoholic. Or an addict or a sex addict or anything. Like my parents screwed me up. Oh, okay. My parents screwed me up. Now I got to screw myself in. It's not necessarily about blaming your parents. It's about recognizing, oh, they screwed me up. Oh, so I need to screw myself back in. And my inability to realize that caused me a whole lot of pain, because if you get sober, if you start healing, your parents are going to feel accused. They're going to feel like they did something wrong, and they did. But it's not about getting them to change at this point. Many of our parents are just too far fucking gone. They're too unconscious. They're never going to get it. So we stop expecting them to get it. But like this caller says, I don't understand. I'm trying to figure it out. And that's the best place to be. If you don't understand it, try to figure it out. But when I would tell people about my story, they would say, well, Patrick, just because your parents didn't love you, doesn't mean people were very offended that I would even bring this up, that maybe their parents had screwed them up. It's one of the biggest barriers to healing and recovery is the idea that our perfect parents. But, parents like this, they run a lot of interference. Like a parent knows that if they have an alcoholic child, even a gay child, they might have screwed them up. But they have to be perfect parents. So that they screw the kids up even more as a way to distance themselves from it. And when you do start healing, you're probably going to get alienated from your family. because when you really do start healing it, it's going to expose everything in them. It's a difficult thing to get out of. It's very difficult to get out of. But this caller, she's saying, I don't understand. I'm trying to figure it out. And she says something about back then it was I guess it was in the black community where if you were standing up, it could have been, but if you stood up while you were having sex, the girl couldn't get pregnant. Something like that. But I'm gay, so I'm not worried about getting people pregnant, if you know what I mean.
When your mother told you, she didn't take you away from your father. Your father turned around and said, hey, that can't be. I was standing up. You can't be mine. When your mother told you this, but you turned around to your mother and told her she ain't worthy for what your father did. And I don't understand. Why would I forgive my mother for what my father did? I don't get it. And I just want you to explain that to me, please, sir.
Well,
All right.
what happened was in the good old days with boys were boys and men were men, in Alabama they thought that if you had sex standing that you couldn't make a baby.
It don't make no difference.
And
But
so-
your father lied, though, right?
Okay, so here we go right now. She says, I want to understand. I'm trying to figure it out, but she interrupts him. And that's what happened when I was trying to talk to my parents about this. It's what happened when I tried to talk to Merrick's parents about this. Interrupt, like they get very angry and upset at the mere hint that something could have been wrong with their parents. And I think it's because they're holding on to that fantasy of something. But she interrupts him a lot in this video, which you will see, but that's a little crazy. She says, I want to understand, but she immediately becomes unteachable. Just unteachable and unreachable.
Because you are conceived. So why would that be your mother's fault that you got to make everybody forgive their mother? Now, this is the world you trying to tell this to. And you want to make everybody forgive their mother for what your father did.
I've heard that before. Like I'm trying to tell the world how to be.
Don't understand. I'm willing to get sacrifice any way you want to take it. But it got to be the truth, and the truth got to come from the Bible and not from no theory or what no man say.
Got to come from the Bible and not no theory and not what no man says. Good luck with that shit.
Talk to me.
And so they were standing, according to what they said, they were standing, and my father told me this, by the way, not my mother. And
well, whoever
and
told
so,
you pronounced that over the air to everybody. You said because your father said it was wrong that she couldn't have impregnated your mother, stand it up.
And so
Listen to what you saying. Listen to what you're saying.
And
And
so
it come out to be, hold up, you are your father's son.
and
And then you turn around and blame your mother because she told you it's your father's son. And then everybody got to say, oh, forgive the mama. Mama's the one who took care of your ass.
Oh, that's the thing. Let's talk about telling the story of stuff. Like this is one of those things that a lot of us have a problem with. You know when I had to quit my job because of my sickness, my IBS that was killing me, Merrick's father told us to file for bankruptcy and sell all our equipment and give up on doing YouTube. That's what he told us to do. He also said that he would help us financially if I got a job just anywhere. I had to have a job, and he wanted control of our bank accounts, and he wanted control of our finances, and he wanted us to stop doing this YouTube thing. That's what he did. He said, I'll help you, but it's got to be, you got to you got to give up this dream of being a YouTube celebrity. And it wasn't even about that. And see, I don't like telling that story. I don't like telling that at all. I would much rather tell you this story. Hey, my parents are dead, and we reached out to some family to say, look, like I had to quit. I couldn't work anymore. It was killing me. And I know it's going to take a little bit of time to get this YouTube thing going. And we don't really know what we do. And I would have loved it if Merrick's dad would have said, okay, well, first of all, don't worry about anything. Get yourself healthy and healed. I may not want to or be able to financially assist you, but I'm definitely not going to make things harder on you. I'm not going to try to sabotage you. I'm not going to try to make you feel bad. I know that, Patrick, at your age, the best you could get is a minimum wage job. And you're very sick right now with IBS. So I don't want to add any more pressure onto you. But what I will do is be there for support. And I won't criticize you. I won't make fun of you. I won't sabotage you. And I will wish for your health, happiness, and success. I would much rather tell that story, because that would be the story that I would want to tell. But I have this weird thing going on with me where I have to be honest with what's going on. I have to. So the story is he did make it harder on us. And it made things worse. It made my health worse. It made getting this YouTube thing off the ground way more difficult. It ruined my confidence. It was just not good for me. So, when I'm telling these stories, please understand that I would much rather tell different stories. And I think that this woman caller, she doesn't like the truth of it. The truth of it is kind of disturbing to her. That I think in this woman's case, her father pulled a bunch of shit and the mother did what she needed to do. And why would she forgive her mother for doing exactly what she needed to do? Right? I think that's what she's saying here.
I don't understand.
And so
I'm lost.
And so in those days, they thought that you couldn't make a baby standing. So when
It
my
doesn't
father,
matter. He
when
was
my
wrong.
father,
But what you don't
when my
understand, what
father-
you got saying, he was wrong.
And so-
Listen,
and
but
so
he
when my-
was wrong.
okay.
You are your father's son, right? Are you another man's child?
And so when my mother told my father
Are
that
you another man's child?
Really, hold on, Phyllis. And so when my mother told my father that she was pregnant, he like, no, you can't make no baby standing. And my mother
That's what the father said.
and my mother got angry at my father about that. And so when she got angry at him, she didn't want anything to do with him. And
What
so,
do you expect?
and-
Listen, hold up. Okay, now you're telling it yourself. She don't understand why this man is convicting her for no reason. Your mother don't understand. Why would you do this to me? When I'm telling you I ain't been with nobody else. I'm telling you, you are the father. And then he turned around and convict your mother. And then you take his side like she did something wrong. You are so wrong, sir. I swear to God.
and
You're
so
going to go to hell in a handbasket, as the old people say it.
Why is it always hell with these Christians? Why is it you're going to hell? Why is it always you're going to hell for this stuff? And this is where we're at. Like I speak truth on this channel. I speak truth in my life, and truth really does upset people who live in a fantasy land. They live in this world, and it's a fantasy world. They're not participating in reality. You could just call them psychotic. And I think Jesse is going to explain it, but I don't think he's going to get the opportunity to explain it. But, he talks about back in the day when men were men and women were women. And, women and men raised the children together. The mother and the father raised the child together. That it's very difficult for a woman to raise a child on her own. And with an absent father, that's what the mother must do. So there's a feminized man would not be able to provide a masculine container for the woman to truly be a good mother. Like, it's not the mother's fault that she's not able to do what she does. The father, the masculine container sort of holds everything together. And in my family, I raised myself. My mother didn't do shit. My dad was never at home, and we raised ourselves. And of course we screwed up. And in fact, there really isn't anything to forgive my mother over, because she was not really a mother. Yeah, she fed us. But it was all messed up. It was all the appearance of it. So Jesse really, in a lot of Jesse's work, he really leans into how you should have been parented. And it's not just Jesse, it's in recovery as well. Like, I had to take a life skills course, and you learn to be a healthy, happy, successful adult. This is how you should have been parented. You can also take active parenting classes where they teach you how to be a parent. People aren't taught this. Usually the only people who are taught this are people who have had DUIs, and the court forces them to learn how to be good parents. And if your parents were raised by people who were not good parents, so on and so on, you're going to be fucked up. So learning about how you should have been parented is enormously helpful. You have to know where your parents screwed you up. And if you're unwilling to look at that, you're going to continue to be fucked up. You are. I'm sorry. You are. Because there is a recipe for how to make a good kid. There is a recipe for how to be a good adult. It's a recipe. And many of us somehow got into adulthood with many ingredients missing. And so healing, shadow work, working on your ego issues, reinstalling new software, we're basically filling in the gaps. We're reintroducing those ingredients into our life that our parents didn't put into us. And I don't think I can say that any way. Why would a parent be upset about that their child is finishing the job that they couldn't finish? I think that should be celebrated. But as often is the case, people get really upset about this, that I did the best that I can. But what if you didn't do the best that you could do? Nobody's blaming parents. It wasn't my parents' fault. Definitely wasn't their fault. They kept claiming it wasn't their fault, and they claimed that they were perfect. Then how did I get so screwed up? How did I get so screwed up? My family, my aunt used to say, even just a few years ago, she said, well, you all were just bad kids. You were just bad kids. And I'm like, but how did we get that way? And I know that because we raised ourselves. There's a clarity that comes with that. What kind of an adult tells children that they are bad? Just born bad, just bad genes, just bad. It's so cuckoo and cockamamie and crazy. When you get clarity over it, that's true healing. That's true healing. I mean, I wasn't an alcoholic. I didn't wake up one day and said, you know what? I'm going to be an alcoholic. I drank to deal with this fucking crazy, insane, shenanigan, sabotage shit. That's the only reason I drank. Take away all that sabotagey shit. It's easy to be sober. It's very easy to be sober because I don't have anything going on in my life that is just insane. And I don't have emotional reactions to just normal ass people doing normal ass things.
You're going to go to hell in a handbasket.
And so,
let's leave that part alone. No, let's get to the black people that you talk to now.
Hold on a minute.
No.
Phyllis, I'll let you talk. Hold on.
No.
Phyllis.
Let's do this.
Phyllis, let me.
I'm finna, look,
Phyllis.
I'm going to teach it to you.
Phyllis.
Let's work this.
Phyllis, either you shut the hell up or I'll hang up on you.
Yeah, now you want to shut the hell up because you want to. Don't want everybody to know the truth.
Hold on.
You don't want nobody to know the truth.
Hold on,
Go ahead
Phyllis.
with your bad self. Go ahead.
Phyllis, hold on.
That you call yourself.
Let's clear up one thing at a time, okay?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, now you overtalk. I gotta take a break, but do not, Phyllis, don't hang up. Phyllis, don't hang up. Phyllis.
No, I ain't hanging up. Explain yourself.
Okay, hold on. Will you hold on? Hold on. I gotta take a break. The treasure chest is now open on D-Live. Quick break. Back in a moment. Let me go quickly back to Phyllis. I'm gonna try to get as many calls and super chats as possible here.
See, Phyllis here is just wasting time. Phyllis, she says she wants to understand. This is where you learn about grievous error. Phyllis wants to be right. Phyllis needs to be right because there's something in her that if she had to admit that her mother screwed her up, that might mean that she was screwed up. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Because if Phyllis had to admit that her mother was wrong, if she had to forgive her mother, that means that she would be screwed up. People can't realize that they're screwed up. They can't realize that they're screwed up. Oh my God. Oh my God. There it is.
Hey, Phyllis.
Explain to me how it's your mother's fault. We don't want to talk
So
about it.
when you,
We're going to go from
Phyllis,
1, 2 to 3.
will you be quiet and let me explain it to you?
Okay, come on with it.
So shut
I
up.
want to hear what you got to say.
Phyllis,
when you
shut up,
your
Phyllis.
father left your mother.
Phyllis,
Go
shut
ahead.
up.
This one is about
I hear you.
women
Go
falling
ahead.
in love with
Okay. So as I said, in those days, we didn't think that you could get pregnant, make a woman pregnant, have a sex, when you're standing. So they did. My father made my mother pregnant. And my mother told my father, he like, you can't make no baby pregnant. You can't make no baby standing. We were standing. And she got.
So basically, because his mother got pregnant, his father thought that she was messing around on him, essentially. Like the father said, well, I couldn't be the father of that baby because we had sex standing up. So basically the father wanted an excuse to get away from the mother. Essentially, it's a weak father, weak man, weak beta male, essentially.
Got mad at him for that. And after that point, she wanted nothing else to do with him. So she married my stepfather because during those days, it was an embarrassment for black women to have children out of wedlock.
That's right.
And so she got married my stepfather so that I would not be a bastard child. I would not be born out of wedlock. But the problem was, Phyllis, she hated my father for that, so she tried to keep me away from my father. And as a result of that, I resented her because in my body, I yearned for my father. I didn't care what had happened with them. I wanted my dad. And she tried to keep me away from him, and I became angry at her. And because she was trying to keep me away from my father, and as a kid, I wanted my father. It's evil when mothers keep children away from their father. So as I got older, I finally understood and I forgave her for that.
And there's another thing, there are boys today raised with the idea that men are bad, that men are wrong. I saw a statistic, if you think that all teachers now are mostly female, and there's a lot of single mothers raising boys. So you're raising feminized men who think that being a man is bad. It was so weird. I was in because I'm older. Like I find myself in rooms with younger people that don't remember what it was like. And so here I am at this gay meeting in Chicago. This is around 2017 when the man hating got really bad. And I was in a gay Crystal Meth Anonymous meeting. And this man said, yeah, it sucks. I love men, but men are so bad. And I'm thinking, girl, you are a man. Like, it was so weird to me. Like, why would you? Men are not bad. Women are not bad. Like, what the fuck is going on in this culture? Why, if I were a woman, why would I hate men? If I'm sexually attracted to men, why would I hate men? I don't hate men. I love men. I love masculine men. Feminine men are boner killing. Feminine men are the problem. Masculinized women are the problem. And so when you have weak men acting in the way that Jesse's father was acting, you also have a mother who married another guy so as to not be publicly shamed for having a child out of wedlock. Jesse resented his mother for taking his father away from him. I mean, I was adopted. I resented my birth mother for giving me up for an adoption. I thought that my life would have been better if I had been raised by my real family. And when I got to talk to my birth mother, she was a crazy crackhead. I'm like, well, it's probably thank you. I didn't resent my birth mother anymore. Then I was resenting my family for adopting me. These resentments, gotta let them go. Gotta forgive people. But at the same time, you got to lean into the truth about it. And so Jesse just like, what makes sense? I resented my mother for keeping me away from my father, because boys need their fathers. Girls need their fathers. You know, I mean, I think romanticizing single parenting is not great. Is not great. The romanticization. She's a single mother. She's doing it on her own. Why are we doing that? It's very difficult to raise a child on your own. Why should we encourage that in people? Why should we encourage that at all? But, you know, back in the day, like the reason I got adopted was because having a child out of wedlock was shameful. And my birth mother told me that if it had been allowed, she would have had an abortion. So I'm glad she didn't get an abortion. My husband's glad she didn't get an abortion. And that's kind of like why I'm pro-choice, with a pro-life stance. I mean, babies want to be born, yo. Babies want to be born. I know that I'm glad that my mother didn't have an abortion. But we all have different perspectives and opinions on this. But at the same time, you know, let's go back to that recipe. What makes a happy, harmonious adult? What makes a successful adult? You know, Jesse figured out that there were some ingredients missing. And how can you heal from all of that stuff? Especially when your parents made choices that turned out to be not so good for you.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but guess what?
No, but let's see what it makes sense first.
Hold on.
No. Let's say
let's hear you, but you don't want nobody to hear the truth.
Oh God, not Maze, but Phyllis.
You don't want nobody to hear the truth.
We'll deal with that. So that makes sense, right?
Listen.
Does that make sense
to you? It makes sense to you. Okay?
Have you forgiven your mother?
Listen, but you don't want to hear nobody else understand it because they lost.
Okay,
what
go
I'm
ahead,
trying
Phyllis.
to tell you.
Go ahead.
Listen, I don't understand how the world with you. You gonna say because you blame your mother because she was hurt because your father turned on her. But
it's not about blame. It's about recognition. It's just recognizing it. It's not about blame at all. I don't blame my parents for I don't blame anybody for anything. If they didn't know, how could you blame somebody who don't know? Like when I was younger and I didn't have a beard, people would confuse me with being a woman. And it never made me mad. It never made me mad. I'm more masculine now, but it didn't make me mad because they didn't know I wasn't a woman. I never understood why people get upset about being misgendered and pronouns and all that kind of stuff. How could you blame people who didn't know? If my parents here's something. If my parents or Merrick's parents truly knew and understood the damage they had caused both of us, they would be mortified. They resisted any conversations about it, but if they knew what they were doing, they would have been mortified and they would have stopped it immediately. But they can't realize it because it would just cause too many problems. So you can't blame. I don't blame Merrick's parents. I don't blame my parents. That would be stupid because they don't know what they do. You know, Jesus forgave the people killing him as they were killing him. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. That's the basis of this type of forgiveness. You cannot blame people who do not know what they do. And I'm sure Jesse's parents and my parents and Merrick's parents truly thought they were making the best decision for their kids at that time. Well, guess what? What if it turns out to not be the best decision? That's okay too. We can fix it. Everything is fixable. But if you start having to go no contact with people, burning those bridges, it's very difficult. Like I did so much to try to not burn bridges. I did so much. It made me sick. But eventually you're just going to have to say they're just not going to get it. They hear blame when you're talking about reasons.
Your mother.
I just explained to you what happened.
Your father turned on her, and I don't understand. Now I want to go to my mama because my daddy turned on my mama and tell her to forgive me. And you think I understand that?
Have you forgiven your mother?
I ain't got no reason to, because she was 100% of a mother. I don't have no reason to forgive my mother, because she ain't did nothing wrong.
She was
took care of.
Was
now,
she
I'm gonna tell
perfect?
you what you told everybody what the Bible said. The Bible said, God first, man second, woman next, children come under the mother. Mother's supposed to take care of their children.
But,
so if you got any complaint about what mama did, take it up with God.
But
this woman's gonna have a conniption. She's having a conniption fit, because this is a common thing. Like, my mother did everything for me. My mother did it all. She did the best she can. My mother is perfect. How dare you say that my mother did something wrong? Ooh, man. But that's that programming too, because we'll defend the people who abuse us. We'll defend the people who oppress us. We'll defend the people. Yeah. Here, let me give you something. Let me give you something that you can take home with you and keep as a souvenir today. Back when I first had my other YouTube channel, the one where I was crazy and drunk on, one of my viewers sent me this book, Care of the Soul by Thomas More. I think it was out of print for a while, so I didn't mark it up. But there's a chapter in here, chapter 2, The Myth of Family and Childhood. And this chapter sorted a lot of shit out for me. By reading this chapter, I was able to understand that my parents are just people. I mean, my parents are 26 when they adopted me. I mean, that's a lot. That's a big deal. I mean, I didn't know what to fucking do at 26. How does anybody know how to raise a child at 26? But I do want to read something to you. And it says, this is on page 26. Today, professionals are preoccupied with the dysfunctional family, but to some extent, all families are dysfunctional. No family is perfect, and most have serious problems. A family is a microcosm, reflecting the nature of the world, which runs on both virtue and evil. We may be tempted at times to imagine the family as full of innocence and goodwill, but actual family life resists such romanticism. Usually it presents the full range of human potential, including evil, hatred, violence, sexual confusion, and insanity. In other words, the dynamics of actual family life reveal the soul's complexity and unpredictability, and any attempts to place a veil of simplistic sentimentality over the family will break down. But care of the soul doesn't require fixing the family or becoming free of it or interpreting its pathology. We may need simply to recover the soul by reflecting deeply on the soul events that have taken place in the crucible of the family. At a certain level, then, it doesn't matter whether one's family has largely been happy, comforting, and supportive, or if there has been abuse and neglect. I'm not saying that these failures are not significant and painful, or that they do not leave horrifying scars. At a deep level, however, family is most truly family in its complexity, including its failures and weaknesses. And so, reading this book, you focus less on your family and your upbringing than you do on the lessons that you learn and how to truly care for your soul. There's also some chapters here on depression and all that kind of stuff. I did mark up some of this, and this is about love. So I am kind of a well-read person in this regard, but then again, I don't understand. Patrick, you just don't get it. You don't get it, Patrick. You don't understand. You just don't get it. God, you don't get it. We need an ego. Parents are perfect. Parents are good. You don't understand. I haven't had anybody yell at me in a long time like Jesse is having right now, but
Phyllis, the father's supposed to stand between the mother and the children so that the mother doesn't turn the children away from him.
But ain't no mother did it.
Yeah,
Only thing you trying to
mothers,
make everybody believe, Pastor,
Phyllis,
is because your mother, you married somebody else because Your daddy told you that you wasn't his. And
Really?
and
My
it was
dad
a
is
lie.
no. My dad never disowned me to me.
Yes, he did.
No, that
But you
only
said
happened.
it.
That only happened when she first told him she was pregnant. Did you know that you could not make a baby standing?
And he lied.
I said,
Do
did you know
understand
that?
He lied.
Phyllis, did you know that?
He could make a baby standing.
Did you
and
know-
I know
Phyllis?
that you ought to know that today. That
Phyllis.
you can make a baby standing.
Phyllis, did you?
A woman sit on a
Phyllis,
man every damn day having sex. You can make a baby.
Phyllis, did
Okay?
you? Phyllis, you got to stop yelling. I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
I mean, when I'm trying to help people, they yell at me. You want to help people understand something, you will get yelled at. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know if I yelled at anybody. When they were trying to, I probably did. I can't remember, but I probably did yell at people. I would get in screaming matches with people. Yeah, I did. But the last time somebody yelled at me, it was probably Merrick's dad. Merrick's dad yelled at me. And I was like, I don't have to put up with this shit anymore.
Did you know that at one time in your life, did you think that you could not make a baby standing having sex?
No.
You never knew.
I'm a woman.
Oh.
I'm fertile. I ain't never thought.
And so was your
Now what
mother?
you got to say?
Phyllis, was your mother perfect?
No, ain't nobody perfect in the God.
What-
The God.
was your
But to a
mother-
child,
was
their
your
mother
mo-
is perfect.
Phyllis, was your mother perfect?
Not in the eyesight of God.
And was your mother perfect?
Not in the eyesight of God.
How
What do
about
you want
in
me to
your?
say?
How about in your eyesight?
In my eyesight as a child and their mother, she was very perfect. She
As
did
an
everything
adult, as
that
an
God
adult.
said she's supposed to do.
As an adult, you
She
still
did.
see your mother perfect?
My mother did what God said.
And
that
as
took
an
her-
adult, do you still see your mother as
She took
perfect?
us to church. She made us know who God is. And I got a question on
Phyllis,
that.
you don't
You
know
told
who
somebody
God
one
is.
day,
Phyllis,
why in the
you-
world would you read the Bible? And
Phyllis.
I don't understand. Your lessons come from the Bible.
Phyllis, was your mother perfect?
Ain't no man perfect.
How about your mother?
What part don't you
We're
understand
talking
with
about
that?
women.
Ain't
How about your
no-
mother?
But Jesse, you just don't get it. You just don't understand, Jesse. You see? You're not getting it, Jesse. You're not getting it. I think Phyllis is this is a projection too. When they say you're not getting it, it might be because they're not understanding it.
Man perfect.
How about women?
A woman, man, no person, woman or man is perfect but Jesus Christ.
So have you
Okay, ain't
forgiven
no
your
man
mother?
perfect.
Have you forgiven your mother for the mistakes she
Jesus was not perfect. This is a little.
made
You
with
know,
you?
I don't have to forgive my mother for her hard work taking care of us.
Have
Why
you?
would I have to?
Now, did like here's the thing. My mother said that she did hard work taking care of us. My mother was the busiest, most put upon, just stressed out, overworked. But my mother was also checked out and lazy. And just because my mother said, like, she would lie to other people and say that she did all this stuff for us, and she really didn't. Like, it was obvious she didn't do this stuff. My mother did the very bare minimum. The bare minimum. But according to other people in our family, like, your mother does everything for you. And as a child, I'm like, she don't do jack shit. Like I get myself dressed for school. I get my own cereal. The only time I really, especially when I was in like grade school, I mean, the only time I really spent any time with my mother, I didn't really spend all that much time with my mother now that I think about it. She worked, but she didn't really have, my mother was not really around all that much, and neither was my father now that I think about it. So they didn't do everything for me, but they told me they did, and they told other family members that they did everything. They did the very bare minimum. I mean, they kept me alive. But especially during the later years, they really didn't do a good job of that. So, I mean, if they would have been honest and they said, I just don't fucking care. I never wanted kids. I should never have adopted you. I mean, at least be honest about this at this point. But for people to be honest, they might have to realize they're a piece of shit. You know, maybe Merrick's dad doesn't like the sight of Merrick because it reminds him of his ex-wife. I would understand that. I would get that. I would understand that totally. But this inability to be honest prevents people from healing. I mean, if I had a child with an ex that was crazy, I may not want to see those kids very often.
To forgive my mother.
Well, she
did what she's supposed to do.
Phyllis, your mother recreated you. Your mother recreated you, and I went down the road, and the road was crowded, and then the road jumped off the highway, and then the cat came in, and then Obama happened.
That's a lie.
Phyllis.
Let me tell you something.
Phyllis.
You are lying.
Phyllis.
You are lying.
Now, Jesse says the worst thing that happened to America was Obama. And I don't know if I agree with that or not, but things have been kind of crazy since 2008. They really have.
You know, black people, and I don't understand. I want you to make me understand.
Since 2001, 9/11, 2001, it's been weird. We really haven't been free. We weren't, like, life was so much different in the 80s and the 90s. It was just a lot different. People were different. People seemed programmed and brainwashed and angry and addicted and all that kind of stuff. Late stage ego stuff. The ego in its death throes.
Make me feel like you feel about black people to hate them.
Phyllis.
Make me feel because you are lying.
Phyllis, I gotta run. I can't play no more. You can't talk.
I know you can't, because you know
I'm
what?
trying
your
to
lies
have
don't hold up.
I'm trying to have a conversation
your
with you.
Your lies don't hold up to the truth.
All right, bye, Phyllis.
Bye, Phyllis.
I tried, right, girl?
You did try, Jesse. You tried. Like, she called. She said she wanted to understand. She did not want to understand. She just wanted to reaffirm her position that her mother did. Because I think Phyllis is starting to unlock the fact that her mother might have been a piece of shit. It's okay for your parents to have been pieces of shit. You can love them anyway. I mean, both of my parents were pieces of shit. And they did do the best that they could, but they were also children. They never had the opportunity to grow up. My father couldn't keep his dick in his pants, and my mother kept popping pills. She had migraine headaches. She couldn't do anything. I mean, it was a very tall order. They had no business having kids because they were not equipped for parenting at all. They weren't. And my father's alcoholism and my mother's pill popping, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I've forgiven them. I love them. I've done the same with Merrick's parents as well. I've actually helped Merrick forgive his parents because, I mean, you have to forgive your parents. You must forgive your parents. And especially if you think that they've done nothing wrong, because chances are they did. Everybody's missing a few ingredients these days. Obviously.
Huh?
I say you tried.
How about you, Hey? I tried, right?
You did indeed.
Huh?
You did indeed.
I can't hear you.
I do this too. Like if somebody screams and yells at me, I'll ask Merrick. I'm like, did I do something wrong? Did I say? I mean, I'll look inside myself and see if I've done anything wrong. I think that's a very healthy thing to do. Like, did I say something? Like, you examine yourself for sure.
You did indeed.
I still can't hear you.
You did indeed. My bad.
You're like, oh. Oh, amazing.
All right, thank you. And I think that illustrates why you need to forgive your parents. That it does. It just illustrates it. You have to forgive your parents. Poor little Phyllis doesn't realize that she has these resentments against her mother, or maybe even probably resentments against her father. The mother probably fostered those resentments towards her father. It's crystal clear when you see it. So, Merrick and I have been on this healing journey for all of our marriage. We got together and we're like, we need to heal from our family shit. Let's heal it together. A lot of stuff can be done when you heal from it. So on July 4th, we went to Nashville to go to a pool party. And on our way home, Merrick started singing a song. And it was about forgiving his parents, forgiving everything that happened to him. And he started singing this song called Came to Be. And so the other day, he worked on the lyrics. And the other day we sat down with Suno, and Merrick came up with the music, and he came up with the lyrics and the melody and all of that. And we put it into Suno and out. Well, it wasn't that easy. It's not like an easy bake. But after several generations and tinkering, we finally got a version of the song Came to Be, written by us. Well, here's how we do this. If the lyrics are written by either of us, it's written by the Concrete Shamans. And here is Came to Be, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to play us out. And I would love to thank you all for joining me for this episode, going to these places, willing to change your beliefs, listen to perspectives that you may not be used to hearing from. Thank you for going on this journey with me each and every day. Well, Monday through Friday, essentially. All right. I love you so much. Please have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. And now here is Came to Be.
Through the river and the trees, I came to be, I came to be. On the river and the roads, I learned to grow, I learned to grow. I've seen the streets of LA, I don't know if they look better today. I've seen the sights in Peru, came home a little different, I guess I grew. But the real growth happens in the heart, not what we see, like my mama told me. Real growth is more than saying you'll start, it's not your castles like my father believes. But then I was able to see. Through the river and the trees, I came to be, I came to be. On the river and the roads, I learned to grow, I learned to grow. Through the struggles and the pain, I only gained. When others yelled and screamed, I came to be, I came to be. I went down to the river to get a drink. People looked at me like I was insane, crazy. You can't drink that water, they said. Why don't you drink this wine with us instead? I turned around to see a chaotic scene, people grimacing as if in a dark, dark dream, hiding knives behind their backs so no one else could see. I tried to point it out, they told me I was being mean. It didn't matter to tell them they were mad. They scoffed at me and said I didn't understand. As they sharpened their blades, hate in their face, I turned to the trees and ran away. Through the river and the trees, I came to be, I came to be. On the river and the roads, I learned to grow, I learned to grow. Through the struggles and the pain, I only gained, I only gained. When others yelled and screamed, I came to be, I came to be. All the years I spent out there the pain, I only gained, I only gained. When others yelled and screamed, I came to be, I came to be.